Hi, my name is Maddie Micheletti, and I wanted to learn more about something in the cognition and consciousness area. So the focus of my presentation is centered around dreams, and in particular, the dreams of blind people. I'm interested in this topic because during discussion a few weeks ago, I chose to look at additional resources to back up a claim that blind people have dreams, they just don't see anything. I found a really amazing article from National Geographic, and I decided that I wanted to know even more about the topic. First, let's start with an overview of sleep and dreams in general. Sleep is divided into two categories, REM and non-REM sleep. Non-REM sleep is deep sleep, and each of us get around 100 minutes of it every night. In between stages of non-REM sleep is REM sleep, which is where the most detailed and strangest dreams occur, even though it's not necessary for dreaming. During REM sleep, it has been shown that the prefrontal cortex shows very little activity, and this makes sense since that is the area of the brain responsible for conscious thought and understanding. The limbic system, on the other hand, shows a lot of activity since it is the area of your brain that deals with emotions. Looking at the graph on the right, you can see that varying sleep patterns in a person's night starting from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The light blue shaded portions are the stages of non-REM sleep, and the red bars that interrupt these stages are the REM sleep where a person will most likely dream. As you move from left to right, you can see the varying stages of non-REM sleep move higher and higher to the top of the graph, meaning that a person is getting closer and closer to waking up since they're getting into their lightest sleep until they finally do at the very far right of the graph. Alright, let's get into some studies on the dreams of blind people. I looked into 3 studies, the first being the sensory construction of dreams and nightmare frequency, which was the one that initially sparked my interest in the subject. This research study was done by Danish psychologists on the dreams of blind people, and it was published in a credible science journal, Sleep Medicine. The psychologists studied the dream content of several groups of people, congenitally blind persons, late blind persons, and people who can see, to act as the control. They used 11 congenitally blind, 14 late blind, and 25 seeing people in their study and collected their observational data over a month-long period through questionnaires administered in the morning to collect the dreams that occurred the night before. Through the study, they found that blind participants had fewer visual dreams compared to those who could see. Instead, those who were congenitally blind reported more dreams involving hearing, tasting, touching, and smelling, and late blind participants reported more dreams involving touch and less visual dreams the longer they were blind. There was no real emotional or thematic difference in the dreams of those who are blind and those who can see, however, leading to the conclusion that dreams in general are consistent across all groups of people. Blindness does alter the senses reported in dreams, and the duration of blindness plays an important role in the variation of sensory composition involved in dreams. The second study I found was a Portuguese study that focused on past experiences of blind people and had them recall the senses they observed during memories or dreams. It is called Could It Be That Blind People Dream? And it was conducted by researchers with PhDs in psychology and was published in a scientific journal with several references for their data. They did not use a large sample size, but since they used over 25 sources, I felt that it was credible enough to use for this presentation. These researchers wanted to center their study around the concept of the mental image, so they had participants describe in detail what they remember from a dream or memory and recorded their observations. One woman described a day at the beach, hearing the waves, feeling the shells, and sitting on the sand. The results from this study found that tactile images, like feeling shells, created the illusion that the blind person could see, or at least as close as they were going to get. This study also found, like the last study, that the dominant sense in blind people's dreams is touch. But overall, the main message was that even though blind people can recount memories in dreams in terms that are associated with sight, we cannot conclude that blind people see in their dreams. Lastly, I used a study called The Visual Contents of Dreams of Blind People from another group of Portuguese researchers. In the study, the researchers wanted to identify a relationship between sleep EEG patterns and dream reports, specifically what was being reported as visual. The 2 researchers who published this work in scientific journals cited several references for their research and also included limitations to their research, such as a small sample size. They also included improvements for the study for future researchers to obtain better results, which is important for research in general. In the study, they woke participants up every 90 minutes by a telephone call for 2 nights and asked them to recall their dreams. In the 5 minutes before they woke up, an EEG was taken in order to study differences in REM and non-REM sleep cycles. And this picture in the bottom right is a representation of what the EEG technology and scan would look like for each participant. The results showed that blind people reported, quote, visual contents of dreams mainly during REM sleep, and during these reports, participants would describe the actions they were doing instead of just naming them, like running or walking. An interesting aspect of the study observed was that blind people can actually produce virtual images in their brain, or at least activate the visual cortex, which is located in the occipital lobe, as shown in the bottom two pictures here. Researchers found that the dreams reported were complex, including scenes and landscapes that are typical in the dreams of people who can see, and that speaking these dreams out loud may trigger the occipital activation shown on the EEGs. The main point of this presentation was to inform you all the blind people do in fact dream. Being blind does impact the content of their dreams, such as the senses used, and the longer a person is blind, the less likely they are to see visuals in their dreams. But for the most part, the process of dreaming is not changed. Blind people still go through stages of REM and non-REM sleep, where they dream and imagine situations through their subconscious, no matter if they can actually see what is going on in their actual lives. I hope you learned a lot from this presentation, and thanks for watching.